Now, I don't remember supporting gender ideology being a condition of opening a bank account or applying for a mortgage, but apparently that's the case at Halifax. Sharing a picture of an employee's name badge, the bank's social media team, no doubt made up of Generation Z interns, told millions of customers pronouns matter. It's a people thing. The particular badge refers to Gemma, and it says she, her, hers. Now, I can imagine the scenes in their marketing department as they smugly hit send on that message. High fives and backslaps for inclusivity. But what they didn't expect was a huge backlash from customers sick of this virtue signalling wokery. Instead of taking on board the feedback, Halifax, who claim the badges create, quote, a safe and accepting environment and prevent accidental misgendering, staggeringly doubled down on their virtue signalling. One particular customer wasn't happy about Halifax's original tweet, but they said, if you disagree with our values, you're welcome to close your account. Charming. Well, Brendan O'Neill, are these guys just a bunch of virtue signalling bankers?
They are a bunch of virtue signalling bankers. I think that puts it perfectly. I think there's actually something quite worrying to this. I mean, there's something funny, first of all, to the idea that we all need to declare our pronouns. I mean, if your name is Gemma and you look like a woman, then everyone knows what your pronouns are. It's completely preposterous. I remember the time Joe Biden declared his pronouns. I'm sorry, Joe, you're a 79-year-old man. No one is going to mistake you for a woman. No one thinks you are gender fluid. So there's a ritualistic element to this where people are basically saying, I'm a good person, I'm virtuous, look at my pronouns. It doesn't serve any practical purpose. It's really just about demonstrating how wonderful and woke you are. But there's a serious component too, which is that if people at work feel compelled to declare their pronouns, then they are really being compelled to go along with an ideology, in this case, the gender ideology, that they might not actually believe in. And I think that kind of compelled speech is really problematic.
Well, I think that's right, because it actually perpetuates the biological myth that a biological man, can become a biological woman. Ask any GCSE biology teacher and they will tell you that is impossible. You could also ask Professor Robert Winston, who received pelters after appearing on Question Time for pointing out that there are just two biological sexes. But, of course, it's 2022, and that's controversial, Brendan. The other problem I've got is they've said, Halifax, that these badges are voluntary. But we know that there will be a lot of nudging going on, a lot of pressure on people to wear the badge, because if you don't, you're a bad person.
Exactly right. There is definitely going to be pressure. And people in other workplaces have said that they have felt pressured to wear a badge with their pronouns or to put their pronouns in their email signature. And that kind of pressure at work is really out of order. You know, the idea of pronouns, it's not just about being polite. It's not just about making a safe workplace, which is what Halifax is saying. It actually signals acceptance of a certain ideological belief. In this case, the notion that you can have a gendered soul, which might be different to your biological sex. Now, I'm sorry, but many of us think that is hocus pocus. We think that's a borderline religious belief that we fully reject. We don't think it's real. And so if people are being forced or pressured to make a statement like that, to indulge in these kind of ideological beliefs, that's a real problem. To my mind, it's as bad as if Halifax was pressuring its staff to wear a badge saying Allahu Akbar or Christ is the Messiah or whatever else it might be. People at work shouldn't be forced to make these kinds of statements, especially if they don't agree with them.
Or to wear a badge that says the earth is flat. I mean, Brendan O'Neill, the issue with these badges is they represent what we've discussed, which is this fiction about the idea that you can change your biological sex. It also supports other things like the idea of trans women participating in women's sport, the idea of someone with a cock and balls beating women in a swimming pool.
Exactly right. And lots of us just don't accept these ideas. We think they are very dangerous. We think they are misogynistic, and we think that they are harmful to women. So if you accept the pronoun nonsense, for example, then really you're saying, I also accept the idea that a man can become a woman simply by declaring that he is a woman and that he should have access to women's toilets, women's changing rooms, women's sports, women's positions at work. And I just think that's wrong. That's a sexist idea that will be damaging to women in the workforce. So there's a bigger agenda behind this. And I think forcing people to accept these dangerous ideological beliefs puts us on a slippery slope to a more tyrannical society.
Absolutely. And I think we can both stress, Brendan, I'm like you, I'm such a liberal, right? In terms of sex, you can sleep with whoever you want within the law. You can identify any which way. If you were born Steve, but you feel like a Caroline, good luck to you. You're Caroline. I will call you she. I'm very respectful. It's not a lifestyle choice. It's who you are. But this ideology is, of course, quite different. Can I ask you, though, briefly to clear up one issue? Is it Brendan or is it Brenda?
It's Brendan. I'm going to stick with Brendan. But, you know, it's a good question because these days people can chop and change their identities as they wish. Okay. I mean, there is a high-flying businessman / businesswoman working in the city. I won't put their name out there, but they change their identity on a day-by-day basis. Some days they go into work and they're a man, and another day they go in and they're a woman. And this person won a Women in Business award. So people are chopping and changing their identity as they see fit. They're winning awards that should be going to women. And I think this is really wrong. We have to accept that biological reality is true. You're a man or you're a woman, and that really is it.
I wonder how many of these trans women will sign up for war if we have to go to war with Russia. Brendan, thank you so much. I do think you protest too much with that beard, but I'll take your word for it that it's he, him. The brilliant Brendan O'Neill, thank you so much.